you know, that he believed that he was more powerful than he was letting on and things like that. And I'd ask him about it and wonder about it, and he just really wouldn't tell me anymore. And so he actually handed me
I
my
need to
first
hear
witchcraft
this
books.
on tape later.
I was definitely looking for something. I wanted to know. I knew that there was more out there than I knew about, and so I wanted to find out what it was. And the witchcraft was sort of like a snowball going downhill. You know, you start with one little thing, and you find out more and more and more, and it just, I got deeper and deeper and deeper into it.
And you said you thought it was giving you control, but it was actually the opposite. And what happened? I know you had a very tragic, almost extremely tragic incident.
Yeah, for a long time, you know, I was a solitary practitioner. And consider myself a white witch. I was definitely in that realm of white witchcraft at that time, and the whole witchcraft thing took a sinister turn, and I began feeling like the spirits that I was calling on, my spirit guide that I kind of depended on to help me, I really felt was leading me to that in order for real change, total change to happen in my life, that I had to die. And ultimately, in order to do that, was to kill myself.
And how did you go about that?
I climbed in my car one day. I had a little old car that had a carbon monoxide leak, and so you'd always have to leave the windows down so that the air could flow, and so I just stopped up the windows and went for a drive. And drove and drove and drove. I don't know how long I went driving, but I ended up on the ground in a park next to my car. The door was open, and I was on the ground, and I woke up, and I thought, I didn't remember driving the car or getting out of the car, but you know, I lived through it, and actually ultimately felt like a failure. Felt like I had done something wrong because I had failed to do what I felt like I was supposed to do.
And then you say that you were saved. Saved by whom?
Well, I went away to college and landed with 2 little Christian roommates, and you know, I hadn't known of God in a kind of vague sense, but these 2 girls were just like nothing I'd ever seen, and they began challenging me that there was more to it than the religion, that form of religion that I had known, and that's all I had known. They kind of showed me that it was more than that, and that God was more than that, and that there really was something there. And so I began just searching out the scriptures and reading the Bible and getting to know God.
She's just a misguided person, that's all.
Very.
Ultimately gave my life to the Lord.
I hear that you
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
burned all your...
I did. I didn't really ever see what I was doing as witchcraft was wrong. And after I met God and you know, followed Jesus, I got to the point where I was walking down campus, and I still remember where I was standing, that I realized what I had been doing, like what that was that I was doing. It was like the revelation came to me like all of a sudden, and I got so scared because I still had all that stuff, and I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know.
So you put it all together and burned it?
A friend of mine actually did it for me. He came with me. We boxed everything up, the idols, the incense, the altars, the books.
Idols,
hundreds of dollars worth of books and CDs. And
look at them. They're disgusted.
And he did a big bonfire in his backyard and burned it all.
I know you have a very strong opinion about shows like Charmed or movies like Harry Potter. What is that?
Well, I think the media, you know, the media often represents it as something innocent, you know, just another alternative, something else. And I think it being on TV has made it seem more mainstream or seem more normal, I guess. And yet it's not. And
So it makes it okay, or makes it
Exactly.
desensitizes.
And it's more than 70% of kids that get involved with it, or people that are witches, most of them get involved as teens. And so my passion, my heart is for teens.
Do you think most of them get involved because they feel like how you felt, disenfranchised?
Absolutely. It's such a hard time. I mean, you know, you're dealing with those cliques and those social circles and parents and trying to get that own identity, you know, learning that struggle for identity. And so the girls at that age, in particular, are very vulnerable, I think, to going down the wrong path. And it definitely led me down the wrong path, because something that can seem very innocent at first can take sinister turns. I mean, you are...
It's ridiculous.
So can Catholics. Look at
It's
the bad
ridiculous.
Catholics out there. There's bad Catholics, there's bad witches, Wiccans, you know.
I'm trying to video this.
Story. And it's a
Or you
very...
can talk
I'm
about
glad
it.
you're here. I'm glad whatever happened, you fell out of that car in that park, and that those girls saved you. Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.